Hi there. In the news around Columbus this week, we reported on the indictment of an inmate charged with killing a Ross County correctional officer. And we also talked about what Governor Mike DeWine had to say about that text leak of a U.S. military plan. And then 10 TV traffic anchor Amy Steigerwald takes us through some of those new roundabouts that are being added up in Delaware County and why one study says Ohio highways are among the best in the nation.
Not only did Whitehall police recover a stolen car, but both people inside had warrants out for their arrest. One was wanted for manslaughter.
Hands! Get your hands up!
Watch this body-worn camera video as Whitehall police box in, then chase the two people inside. This is the second day in a row Whitehall police chased this car. The second time, the man, who was later identified as Rico Stokes, tried to run.
Taser, taser, taser!
He was tased and was arrested. He had a warrant out for his arrest on drug charges. The woman, identified as Diamond Bird, had been indicted in Franklin County on manslaughter charges and had a warrant out for her arrest. Whitehall Deputy Chief Dan Kelso says this is an example of how the flock cameras are keeping dangerous, wanted people off the streets and keeping your family safe.
How good does it feel to be able to take these two suspects, knowing what they're accused of, off the streets?
Yeah, it's great for us, but it's even better for the city of Whitehall because what these people are doing is victimizing people every day.
Bird's one-year-old son, Dymar Bird, died of a fentanyl overdose in February 2024. She was indicted in January of this year on manslaughter and child endangerment charges, and a warrant was issued for her arrest.
Every single minute that they are not in jail, they are preying upon society.
Since Whitehall installed flock license plate reading cameras in 2023, they've had 681 hits on stolen vehicles. They've made 236 adult arrests for stolen cars and 108 juveniles arrested for stolen cars.
It's almost like having 25 or 30 other cops standing around the city watching people come and go.
More eyes watching criminals, keeping you and your family safe.
She's an individual that we need to take off the street, just like this guy who's just out stealing and harming.
And Kelso says the couple had put a stolen license plate on a different stolen car. And he says that's why he didn't alert the flock cameras immediately. He says this is a reminder of why it's so important to report your license plates if they've been stolen.
The lawsuit is demanding more than $25,000 in damages for the harm caused by the defendant, 81-year-old William Brock, and 5 John Does who were involved in Lolitha Tolan Hall's death.
The lawsuit alleges just before 11 a.m. on March 25th of last year, Lolitha Tolan Hall was sent to the home of William Brock in South Charleston through the Uber app. The order came in as a request for her to pick up a package. When she arrived at Brock's home, she parked in front of the garage, and dash camera video from her car shows her making her way toward Brock's front door. The lawsuit states Brock then came outside, holding Hall at gunpoint as she attempted to walk away. When she threatened to call 911, he told her she wasn't leaving, and he shot her in the leg. The lawsuit states Hall did not know another party contacted Brock and instructed him to deliver money in a package to the driver of the car. Hall tried to explain she worked for Uber and begged Brock not to shoot her. He shot her 3 more times before calling 911 to report it. Hall died at a hospital from multiple gunshot wounds later that afternoon. According to the incident report from the Clark County Sheriff's Office, Brock told investigators he had received a scam call telling him his nephew was in jail and he must pay them a ransom or both he and his nephew would be killed. Brock was arrested and charged with murder.
It's a very concerning situation.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, speaking at the Columbus Metropolitan Club luncheon, explained to the crowd the importance of keeping military secrets secret. He praised the Atlantic journalist who inadvertently was sent these text messages about an impending bombing in Yemen from members of the U.S. Defense Department for not reporting it in real time.
That certainly would have been not a very good thing at all.
The governor served on the Intelligence Committee for more than a decade as a member of the U.S. Senate. Back then, social media didn't exist. I questioned him why it would be used to exchange military operations.
How in this day and age is that allowed to happen at the highest levels of government?
Look, I think this has to be investigated. I think we have to get all the facts out. I have every confidence that the facts will get out and people will make their own judgment about that. This is not what you would normally expect to see happen at all.
Former Governor John Kasich tweeted, quote, "This is a reminder that sometimes you need experienced government employees to avoid unforced errors." OSU law professor Dakota Rudisil, who was a member of the Obama-Biden transition team, advising them on nominees for the CIA director and national intelligence director.
One really has to wonder, with an $800 billion defense budget, couldn't they develop some sort of communication method which is secure?
He said sharing military operations over a non-secured phone app is a serious breach of protocol for protecting the nation's secrets.
That would be possibly illegal, certainly reckless, and the type of conduct with regard to national secrets that if you were anybody except one of the big fish, there's no question that your security clearance would be suspended, you would probably lose your job, and you may be facing jail time.
He said while the White House has downplayed the importance of the text messages, this investigation could find those involved in violation of the nation's Espionage Act.
It is possible that what the president's cabinet members and the vice president did here would be in violation of the Espionage Act and other statutes. I have to caveat it a little bit, though, because the president under our system has ultimate control over what is classified information and what is not.
Now, Professor Rudisol says if the Trump administration doesn't punish those responsible, he says it could make it appear that those in the administration have different rules than those in uniform.
Drivers in Delaware County are starting to get used to traffic across their major roadways. But now in the rural areas, traffic is also starting to pick up.
Just growth in general in Delaware County is pretty significant. We see a lot of homes getting built, especially in the southern part of the county. I think we do a pretty good job trying to stay ahead of it, but the growth has been pretty significant over the past 5 years.
Officials with the Delaware County Engineer's Office released a breakdown of all the projects scheduled through 2026. Many of those include improvements to bridges and new roundabouts in high traffic areas. Some of those spots, 3 new roundabouts across Cheshire Road and a new roundabout on Big Walnut and Tussock Street. To put things into perspective, right now there are 24 roundabouts across Delaware County. Over the course of the next 2 years, that number will increase to 34. And by 2030, there will be 50. Road engineers say research shows these are the safest option in busy spots.
They reduce crashes by 80%, injury and fatal crashes by 80%. They increase capacity and efficiency. There's less wait time. You don't have to stop at a red light. So they're the safest intersection.
Now, construction for some of those roundabouts in the southern portion of Delaware County near Intel will kick in starting in June. Meantime, many of these roundabouts are being paid for through local funding, ODOT and federal safety funds, and other state funding as well. Reporting in studio, Amy Steigerwald for 10 TV News.
The battle to stop cyber attacks from infiltrating our nation's election systems is never ending, according to those whose job it is to stop them.
We're all often fond of saying that election security is sort of like a race without a finish line. You always have to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
Those bad guys are often thwarted by the actions of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA.
One of the things that CISA does is they give us what's called penetration testing, which is a fancy title for them coming in and trying to hack us.
The Trump administration cut $10 million from CISA's budget, citing overlapping of services. Steve Simon, president of the National Association of Secretaries of State, worries election security could be compromised under the budget cuts.
There's always a risk that if they go away, that will put us at a disadvantage. It will make that job of keeping our elections safe and secure just a little bit harder.
Ohio's Secretary of State Frank LaRose told 10 TV he doesn't foresee any negative impacts from the cuts. Quote, what the left consistently fails to grasp is that government efficiency requires doing more with less. That's exactly what DHS and the Trump administration are doing. We will continue to monitor, but at this time, I do not foresee any negative effects to our capability to deliver secure elections in Ohio. I asked Simon if this is an attempt to make states bear more of the cost for cyber threats.
The question you asked is one that we have. Is this just a one-off, or is this a signal of something bigger? Is this sort of an expectation that from now on, states will maybe not be on our own, but maybe be expected to do more that the federal government was doing? We just don't know that yet.
Nationally, Russia, China, and Iran all tried to infiltrate our elections last year. Those in charge of keeping them out worry what will happen if those people are let go. Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
So have you filed your taxes yet?
Yes, I have.
For folks who got a refund, they're already planning what to do with it.
Probably something fun, hopefully. Okay. Yes, I want to use it for something fun. A trip, vacation, yeah.
Then there's the people who haven't filed. Are you usually someone who waits until the last minute?
My wife does it normally, so.
But it's not too soon to think about what to do with a refund. Do you plan on putting it toward anything?
No, probably just savings.
According to the latest data from the IRS, more than 70 million tax returns have been sent in. Almost 50 million of those have resulted in a refund check.
For many households, a tax refund's the biggest windfall you're going to get all year.
Bankrate chief financial analyst Greg McBride says it's tempting to use the refund money for something fun, like jetting off somewhere warmer. But consider moving yourself forward financially.
A big step forward would be paying down that high-cost credit card debt.
According to Bankrate, we Americans owe a record $1.2 trillion on our credit cards. And with most credit card interest rates more than 20%, that debt adds up fast.
Prioritize your debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Focus on knocking out those highest rate debts first, and take advantage of those low rate balance transfer offers to really turbocharge the debt repayment process.
If you don't have credit card debt, he says, put it toward an emergency fund or that car repair you've been putting off. And while a big refund sounds exciting, you might want to adjust how much your employer is taking out of your paycheck.
If you're getting a big refund, that means you lent the government money for free for the last year.
Now, if you need help filing your taxes, there are some free options out there that you can take advantage of. One includes 614 File Free. They offer free tax filing for families with at least one child and a household income less than $70,000. Another option is Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, or VITA. They offer free help to individuals earning $60,000 or less, people with disabilities, and limited English-speaking taxpayers. AARP also offers free tax help.
We've been developing it.
State Representative Mark Johnson says he's working to reform Ohio's prison system. And to do that, in February, he told us about Andy's Law. The draft bill is named after Ross Correction Officer Andrew Lansing, who was killed on Christmas Day. According to the ODRC, inmate Rashawn Cannon beat Officer Lansing to death. Johnson believes that staffing shortages are a big reason for Officer Lansing's death. According to him, Andy's Law would require the ODRC to hire a consulting firm to improve hiring and retention methods. It would also strengthen penalties for inmates who injure or kill correctional staff. On Tuesday, Johnson confirmed that several other provisions of that bill will now hopefully be handled as amendments to the state budget.
One is to bring the widow health care until he or she becomes eligible for Medicare. So that would cover them till they're 65.
Johnson is also hoping to remove copay fees for mental health coverage of prison employees.
We all know when you watch your friend and coworker go out and face the things that they have done, there's little wonder that you need some counseling.
And when it comes to prison safety, he had this take on the state's recently announced taser pilot program.
Will tasers work? Will it help?
I can't answer that question. You know, I'm not a professional in corrections. It probably wouldn't hurt. You know, what the officers fear is the tasers going in the wrong hands, the inmates getting a hold of them.
In Columbus, Rochelle Aline, 10 TV News.
If you ask Ohio drivers how they feel about our highways, you'll likely get a common answer.
Could do some work. I mean, yeah, there's some potholes here. I mean, I know they're improving them, but...
Iffy, but I think they've been doing really good about fixing them up. Especially recently, there's been a lot of construction on the roads.
A recent study from the Reason Foundation found Ohio highways are actually among some of the most efficient and cost-effective in the nation.
It ranked 10th overall, and the reason for that ranking is basically it doesn't do anything poorly, and it does a number of things well.
According to their annual highway report, Ohio highways have improved over the past few years, jumping up from the state's previous ranking of 17. The study evaluated the condition, safety, and cost of roads and bridges in all 50 states. Baruch Feigenbaum with the Reason Foundation says compared to other neighboring states of similar size and population, like Michigan, Ohio's safety record across highways is also much better.
Ohio, more than many other states, is effectively managing those costs. So it's great to spend relatively small amounts on maintenance, but if your system still has a lot of potholes, that's not a great result.
The study also found an interesting tidbit about sitting in traffic here in the Buckeye State.
Ohio drivers, to give you a stat, sit in traffic 12 hours every year. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate. Sounds really accurate, actually, especially in the mornings.
Columbus police say since the beginning of this year, there's been an uptick in protests and demonstrations, but so far they've all been peaceful. Whether it's at the State House, on High Street, or even the post office.
U.S. mail is not for sale.
Recently, there's been no shortage of people letting their voices be heard. At these events, you'll often find police wearing these light blue vests.
So these are our blue vests worn by our dialogue officers.
The dialogue team has been busy since Election Day.
Our role, again, is to facilitate First Amendment activity. We're not there to build cases or make investigations or charge people. We want to facilitate First Amendment rights. So these are the people that are there to serve as that point of contact to help make that happen.
When the political climate is intense, police also prepare for the possibility of counter-protesters.
Our goal is to let everybody's voices be heard, regardless of what your opinion may be. So if conflicts and tensions rise, sometimes that happens. People are very passionate about these things. We try to work with both of those parties to not let that escalate to an outcome that nobody wants.
Across the nation, people have been protesting at Tesla dealerships, including in Columbus. Those events have led the FBI to form a task force to take on vandalism of these vehicles. But here, things have remained peaceful, and police hope to keep it that way.
The same thing we want. We don't want people to get hurt. We don't want assaults to happen. We don't want property to get damaged. And us being on the same, having the same outcomes, we want to figure out how we can do that together.
With this weekend's planned protest at Easton, police are not concerned about a risk to public safety. Reporting at CPD headquarters, Carla Rogner, 10 TV News.
Inside the Stonehouse, laughter often echoes.
Don't go too fast.
And jokes are thrown around.
We have coconut jello, maybe, but it's Lent, so maybe we won't have any.
Dominican Sisters of Peace, Sisters Gemma, Terry, Tram, and Betta, gather to make dinner. A time to socialize, unpack the day, and just be gals.
I love being a Dominican sister, and mainly because I have sisters, friends, companions who are holy women. They inspire me.
Each of these women are different ages, from different parts of the world. But their devotion to help make the world a better place unites them. A religious calling young women today are increasingly shying away from.
Was a new idea and pretty wild for me.
Sister Terry is 33. She's part of the 2% of American nuns between the ages of 31 and 40.
Take vows, poverty, chastity, obedience. And the more time that I spend with them, I'm finding that they're more yeses than they are no's.
Helping the greater good when it comes to justice, crime, ecology, education, even immigration is just some of the community work the Dominican Sisters of Peace have been carrying out in Central Ohio since the 1800s.
Our role has been to help prepare people that we work with to navigate the current waters that are quite a threat to their presence here in this country.
We've given it all away.
An intergenerational group of women, still hard at work centuries later. Sister Jezebel is 96 years old. As over 80% of American nuns are over the age of 70. Prioress Sister Patricia says outreach continues.
Since we became a union in 2009, the Dominican Sisters of Peace, we've had 11 women enter our ranks.
And while you may not always notice, the Dominican Sisters of Peace are all around us, and their presence is strong in Columbus, continuing to offer sisterhood, whether that be walking alongside We Are Linden to help stop gun violence, or by simply breaking bread.
It's sisters that have seen a need in the world and responded and have stepped up to the plate over and over again.
They assure they're not going anywhere anytime soon, remaining at the forefront of women using their powers for good.
Women are the pillars of society in general, and they provide tremendous compassion, love, care. Women have a great heart, and that's what we need.
Thanks for joining us for Around Columbus this week, where we share impactful stories from all across Central Ohio, designed to keep you safe and informed. For more news, be sure to download our free 10 TV News app.